Do the setup. She's looking at babies. Good evening, my friends. What's up? These colors all crazy on this one. A little better. Holy moly. Alrighty here. What's going on, my friends? Good evening. So it looks like right at the end of the day, we told our chat here we had 8 points coming up from the base here. We were sitting right around here. And I said it was going to pop back up to that 3618 on SPY. We had about 8 points. So we did get that last little pop. As I said in chat, wasn't going to play this one just in case, but we were talking about this here in our group to the 3618 because we had the 200 SMA catch up, right? So this pink salmon dash line right here, that's my 200 SMA on that minute chart. If you zoom in real close, you see it break over here, come down on this red candle and almost tag into that 200, and it never did. Same with the 100. So the first time it ran back into the 100 EMA in the green, followed suit all the way up to the final little dump, and then it finally caught up to the 200 at the end of the day. So we did come into that 200 SMA 1 minute, and then we said we're probably going to pop up and at least grab close to that 3618. Now, of course, we had a little bit of news there, China deal after hours and some other stuff, but we did pop the 8 points we expected, 6200, and of course, just like the algos produced, 6200. So we did get that move up. Now I don't think this is even refreshed here. How do I refresh Chatsky here? There we go. Bring it back over. Awesome. So we're going to do some little setups here for the open. Obviously, if we take a peek at the highs here, we're at the all-time high. One thing I do want you guys to realize here, we've been utilizing a very special weekly Fibonacci candle here, and this weekly had hit the 100 EMA. The week of 421, the golden pocket here back in the 5300s. It did interact with that 100 EMA here on the weekly and then left us with that open GP. So we've been following suit on that weekly, and of course it created that beautiful little chop right through the 1618 and it's flying to the 2618. So it's not going to be some kind of easy short potential out. If we go to the daily chart here as well, we are looking at the last no GP. We have two different ones to worry about here. 624, another high-low golden pocket there that we have that GP right here with a no tag. So if we do that one beforehand as well, right here, and we'll just turn this one just blue for now so we can see it. There we go. And then we did tag into this 1618, broke through and up. Okay, so these are getting tagged and snapped through, so that means we do have a good potential chance chance to open up into the 1618 and kind of fail the early 6200s. Potentially the psychology number of whole half ending exactly on 6200, pretty obvious there, very close to NQs as well. That's 22,700. And again, on the NQ side of things, we did miss that by just a few bucks. So 22,700 is going to be an interesting one at the open here. We got a few minutes left, and I'll show you the trade plan for both here. Now, I'll go to the default. I'll show you the 115 minute I'm looking at right here as well. So you know me in Fibbies, right? And this Fibonacci is from a 15-minute high-low. We could even go there real quick just to show you. On the ES, of course, one of the bigger 15-minute candles before the breakup above the volume-weighted average price in the purple. Now, when we fib out that high-low and push it to the upside, you got 1618, 2618, and you guessed it, 3618. I'm very adamant on 3618, rejection, scalp back to 2618. So this setup does appear right now at the end of a very big force update. Now, we did have news. We are at all-time highs. So a regular technical analysis day is not something we're looking for where the perfect, easy TA play out of first tags and backtesting algos plays out. This one might be a little bit more aggressive because we are at all-time highs. So this one is going to be a little slower than what we're used to as far as confirmations. Now, I have the same 15-minute marked off over here on the NQ side of things in the green. And of course, I will be looking at a high open and a rejection near 22,734. If that's one of the things that we see, it's identical. Both sentiments are on the screen. If it happens to just explode up and it just FOMO all-time high moves, I'm probably just going to watch, get some screen time in, and talk to chat. So, of course, we can go over any questions and everything else that we're coming up here on the weekend classes or anything else that you guys want to cover. We'll be doing that. But we will get a little screen time in here, and we are going to be checking out a lot of the fun stuff here right at the open. We have all of our linked accounts at top one. We just got our payout, so we're up $15,000 now on the top one, starting for just this last month and this month. Total, I have the updated video. I'm trying to figure out how to video edit. I have no idea, so I'm blocking out like my bank account numbers and trying to edit through CapCut and stuff. So I do have the $180,000 I made video through prop firms, Top Step, Apex, and Top One since February, since we're up just over 180 grand so far in payouts. All right, we made actually 300 some thousand, so we'll see. So here's that open. Small gap up, and of course, I'm going to wait for the minutes to kind of recalculate here. And of course, it's downside bias under 61.97. If we get that, Q's opened up actually directly in line over here in the NQ side of things. Very kind of bland open. So I like bland. I'm okay with bland. As long as the 61.97 here becomes resistance, we could have a little bit of a cut down here, walking it down. We're going to watch the first minute. We're going to fib the first minute. We're going to actually hide this VWAP because it's always in the way at open because of the recalculation. And then we're going to kind of walk ourselves through potential shorts here. So I'm going to grab a little bit right out of the gate here at the failure of 3618. So I just got to see a couple opening minute candles under the 3618. And then I'll be grabbing some if we see some attempted moves down, because again, we opened in line, it's FOMO all-time high moving. If we start to open and push above yesterday's close highs or whatever, we could still come up. But if we get a little bit of a flash move down, you know, we'll take it down. But if not, just leave it alone. So like you said, if it does open up into that all-time high move, I'll just watch and learn as we kind of go through here. For some reason the YouTube chat's not loading. So if you guys are chatting and saying hi, I don't think I can see you. So yeah, it looks like we have 30 some people in here. I'm not sure if anybody else is talking, but it looks like it's literally just froze. So we can try reloading it. I don't think it's going to work though, just in case, but we'll see. So we're going to watch right here, 6,200, obviously yesterday's highs. It wants to push out. Not really too interested. I just want to see a couple minute opens here that are going to give me a deciding factor. We opened up above a lot of the anchors. We just opened up into the first minute into the GP. This is where I usually start my short. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a little tiny short here, starter, to see if we can't walk ourselves down to even just the moving averages. We got an entry at 61.95.50, break at the bottom of the 1 minute candle here. And again, if it does keep riding up here, it's a single ES. I'm not trading anything crazy to the slightest. So we're going to come in here I like to fib out the first minute candle here, and then if it starts breaking back above the GP, I just close right away above minute candle. So it's just a plus minus of like barely 3 points. So we'll be watching that. Very low volume, very ugly so far. Which again just furthers the squeeze up. Again, at all-time highs, we're not anything but easily used to this stuff. This happens all the time. So yeah, and under the 3.618, even just walking down to like a 2.618 or down to another 3, you got about 9 points. So you got a good amount of space there. If you look now at the 1 minute opening candle right here that we did fib out, walking ourselves down that Fibonacci range, we do actually hit our target, as we discussed earlier part of the video here, of 2.618. So we just got to stay under 61.97.98. If it does blow out the top here, I just close with a little tiny $100 to $150 red on 3 points. Just in case, because we don't mess with all-time high FOMO movers. We are into a really good resistance check of a 3.618, and 9 out of 10 times that's a perfect scalp. It just pushed me out immediately because it is going to scam manipulate up. And this is exactly what we talked about for all-time high FOMO moving, right? There is no such thing as resistance. It just goes and goes and goes and goes, which is perfectly fine because now the NQ side of things is long to 22,733, and that's the other play that we're going to see set up as discussed. So I wanted to get the good trade from the rejection of the 3.618 back here down to the 2.618. Since that scammed out, we do not have it. So we are going to watch and learn. So the NQ trade here, breaking over the highs, 22,700 is a really big psychological there on the NQ side of things. So I'm going to play a little bit of an uptick here on the NQ. Into the 22,700. It's going to be hopefully a nice little psychological magnet, kind of pop back up there as long as the opening minute holds here on the NQ. And if it doesn't, then I don't trade it long either. So we'll look for an entry at the opening breakout range. We take the breakout range of the 1 minute here of the range. We fib it like this, and then we say, okay, as long as it holds right here at the golden pocket, pointed to the upside, you now look for this as support for entry if we get it. And again, this is more subject to a short than anything else, so I can't play anything until we actually get some big breaks through support, because that's just playing non-confirmational, which is insanely silly. So again, if we get back under the 3.618, the short's still on the table. This is just a scam push right to yesterday's highs. Just had to break into all-time highs by a half tick there. Very normal so far. No trades open, just looking for the long on the NQ side of things here if we hold the GP. And just a little tick up towards 22,700 again. If ES breaks down, I have no interest in NQ. NQ is just a scam market. ES is the real trader. So I trade actually NQ off of ES every single day with consistency. So that's one of the most fun parts about my trading style. And the new here, we can actually dictate every single NQ move off SPY, which is pretty fun. So if we do see this under now the 0%, which is 6198, we're not going to be long at all on the NQ. We have no entries yet, and we are looking at this golden pocket hold potential for support. Now, of course, if we don't get that, you don't trade it. Simple as that. And we're above VWAP right now. Let's see what the anchors are doing here. I think the anchor opens are mildly on deck here as well, but I think it's just... Let's fib this out. Yeah, we haven't even tagged anchor support yet, so no support coming in yet. 22,679.50. The 1618 was already tagged, so main support has to hold 22,682.50 for me to be interested in any kind of potential moves here. And then if we do get a little rocket ship up towards that 2,700, we'll have a long breakout through as the green sentiment candle holds right here. So I'm going to plan a little bit of a long move from here, breaking over the highs and chasing down the psychological number of 22,000 once we start to see. The MACD on the 1 minute, I don't really trust anything here. It's kind of crappy. I think actually we could start to snap back down a little bit, trap a couple of these shorts first before it goes off. So you're going to see a couple wicks down, I think, and a couple little candles down here, because this is where the novice traders would start to long, and then the idiot shorts would think that this is a easy rollover without confirmation. So they should feed into that. The algo should feed into that, drop a couple times here, and then shoot this thing back up. So we'll see. I don't have any crazy trade plans yet. I need at least the opening anchor to back test here. So let's put on a couple more low anchors. So again, you're going to see some reds here. You're not going to see any kind of greens yet. Pretty easy. There's your red as expected. It's going to come down a little bit more. Your first support's not even to like 22,000, like 679, because it has to trap the novice shorts or the novice shorts, right? People that don't understand algos or fibs or whatever retail traders are called nowadays. I have no idea. But yeah, there's your little tick red, of course. Like playing that breakout as an easy long trap. They have to get some short fuel to play this up. So looking at the long still, we just are fueling this long play, right? Making her work, slow and steady. And all we need to do is get a little marker for a break back up above the 1618 and just get fuel up. So we needed a couple wicks down here. Oh, there's a gap. That's bad news on lower high for algos as far as that's concerned as well. We just had a 1 minute gap instant fill. We call those common gaps, especially on a lower high. So no longs now. It's a simple algo program that I created a long time ago. So you're not going to get longs unless it's 22,000. 688 and above. So just seeing that one little common gap tick right there scares me out of any kind of huge moves to that upside. So still in wait mode, still entering long above the 688 if we get it, but that's way up here. And of course we're going to look for that move back up to the 22,007, but I'm only going to put some fishing order bids out here to see if we can get some fills here. Because if we don't get back over that 1618 from the 1 minute candle, which resistance is at 22,689, right? That's why you play that breakout range of the 1618. That'll be it. All right, so I'm going to delete this so you guys can kind of see what the 1 minute I'm looking at is. This is the 1 minute I keep referencing here, just the 1 minute open. Notice how it rejected the 1618 and then it comes back down. If you've watched any of my YouTube videos at all, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Order filled. Okay, we got the market breach stop order moving to the upside here. Good deal. Awesome. Oh, do we get a scam fill there? Yep. Order filled on 5. We are moving up towards 22,007. Oh, you guys can't even. I thought I had this one up. Sorry, I'm on the wrong panel. We're moving on that right there. So I was going to try to, oh no, that's 5, not 3. Ooh, hold on. Ugh. There we go. Jesus. All right. So 22,700 be that next move here. And then you just want to limit sell right ahead of that 2618. I'm sitting here talking to myself, not even showing my trade panel. All right, 6201 moving in, and then 6203. Again, 22,700 or just below is going to be target on that. So miss getting out on that push. Locked in on that. We should be okay for up to the magnet of the psychological number. You like 6220 tag? I don't mind that. It's a little high for ES for me with the VIX being so low. I tend not to play ES. If the VIX is nice and low, then I'll play the NQ. Generally speaking, I'm not a huge fan of the I'm gonna size one more down and just ride that. I'm not a huge big fan of the ES when it's VIX low. It just doesn't move anywhere. Like the whole nightly range can be like 6 points. It's a big bummer. These are the anchors I was talking about too, telling you guys all the anchors, and of course not even paying attention to it, but sorry about that. These are all the open, high, low, close 4 anchors that I was telling you we're going to get red candles into. We kind of hovered into the 1618. We just kind of started going green right here, and I said, no, we got to get some wicks down to the anchors. And these are those little red wicks that would have came down in the red candles and pushed into those anchors. Those are the ones I had fishing orders for and got those entries near for the push, but did not hold. So my target, of course, is that 20,007. It's right through the 2618. NQ does have a personality trait to slip through a lot of these things, so we got to put a B on that. I forgot, just in case this thing scams and just flash crashes down. I forgot to put a stop on, so we do have a break even just in case, so we can lock in 450 times 3 just in case. So NQ does have a personality trait where it likes to slip through certain support resistance, right? So even if you made a 1 minute fib like I like to do on the opening candle and it pushes up to that 1618, notice right how it slipped through that 1618, right? It came up and just hit that 1618 through it. We were expecting that to do the same thing at the 2618, but it's scam shy. Now, scam shy happens every single second of every single day here in the last couple weeks, so nothing we're not used to. So yeah, if we ride this 10 SMA, we're staying above VWAP, we're staying above 1618 now, 22,689.30. We're still in good gains. But you know, if it does drop BE, doesn't matter. We're still gonna make about $1,300 at the open and lock it in probably till tomorrow because we're not gonna do too much crazy stuff. Again, these accounts just got our payouts. We got over 15 grand in payouts the last 70 days, so we got to be extremely careful with the P&Ls because they're all the way down to only like having $4,500 in them or 58, whatever the hell they're, you know, I have no idea. It's on streamer mode, but yeah, we got to be careful with these. So we're playing real small. We're not going to go for huge 6 to 10K hits there with small accounts. But as we're cooking here, we want to get up to that 22,006. We're riding that 10 SMA with some love here. If this looks a little weirder, it's probably going to BE because that would be the market plan to come down, wipe out any of the stops on longs, and then shoots it back up to 20s. But we'll just play another long over the 1618 if the BE exists. We just got to find the next structure point. So you got 1 push, 2 push, and again, should hold right here. So magic wick down, stop everybody out long, and then shoot back up is the normal here for the algos on trend because it always takes out wick range lows. So we have a good chance to be profit stopped out. Again, doesn't matter to me. You make $1,300 in a few minutes. Can't be sad about that. Been super busy with work, projects. Oh man. Yeah, I hear you, J-Dubs. That happens, dude. I hear you. Well, good to have you hanging out. We're just taking a few opening range scalps here. Don't want to play too heavy. Obviously, you know me, I'm slow and steady. Don't worry about too much, but we do have a nice little 3-up right here. So the opening candle range holds the GP. We have 1 push to the 1618. We have a push shy to the 2618. So anything above right here, that 2618, we're going to see a shoot to 22,700, but it's got to most likely liquid wash the light stoppers out here. Most likely, we'll see. That'll probably be us if we get liquidated. That's fine. I don't care about anything besides profit take. If we get a BE, there's no such thing as being sad about making green. So we're holding VWAP, holding 10 again. A range wick down to kind of fumble shorts again would be a pretty good factor. Let's draw the consistency thingy here. There you go. So anything over that, we still want to. I had that a little high. I didn't want to order filled. Yep, as expected. So it's going to liquid wash down under the 1618 BE stop, quick little $1,300 green. And then now it's going to turn back around after that 100. So it's got to, again, come down underneath a nice breakout candle like this, sweep. And then now if it builds support above the 1618, the only long point is now above the 1618 to the 2618. And if not, well, you avoid it completely because, well, there's no confirmation of uptrend. So we are trying to develop a higher low right here. Now, again, you slipped past the anchors like we just said NQ always does. You slipped all the way to 100 just like NQ always does. And yeah, that's it. That scam shy of the 2618 was huge. And that's, of course, a shy of the 22,700 as well. Doesn't mean the trade's over, but a lot of the times I'll start to come back down to like an MNQ instead. And I'll start activating MNQs instead because now we're at a much better advantage to kind of stay tried and true to the P&L. So another risk of maybe, I don't know, the 400 that we got here, what is it, 50 some bucks here would be a risk. And if not, we just lock out. So move this down here. I can see SPY because again, I trade NQ off ES. And as long as we're under 6,200, we are in kind of a knit failure here. So we'll watch this for a little bit, see what 6,200 brings. Because you see these big breakout snap candles, it's low volume manipulation snaps always at the open here. We play these all the time. This is nothing new. Easy peasy stuff when you see the big fabricated candles here. It's low volume snaps. I have no problem with them. I like them, but NQ just slips a lot. That's why you switch to the Mikeys, as we call them. The micros. We love the micros. Because you can always slowly add into the formation of these highs and play accordingly. I'd like to really get like 22,710, a 3618 at the open, but as long as we're above 6197.15, I can think long in terms because that's the scam level, the 3618. If we're above that, we're going to head to 6203. Nothing else really is too tantalizing yet. That's why, again, why we're over on the NQ side of things because the volatility index is super low and useless right now. when it breaks down this far, just trade the NQ because that's the only range you're going to get unless you want to play a 2-point range forever on an ES. Not my jam. The 10 SMA, a typical moving average is short-term support. Yep, I use it as trend all the time on live stream. It's usually first tags though. And a first tag would look something like when you break over a 10 SMA like this, shy it, and then the first tag held right here. And now it's holding that consolidation of the 10 to move up. In general terms, the market moves in ways of threes. So if we have an open and it pushed once up, came back down for trend 2, as long as we are steady above VWAP in 3, we are looking for the next higher high because the market loves to move in threes. So 3 up, 3 down. It likes to break micro trend on the 1 minutes a lot of the time in moves of 3. So there's that. We're struggling at yesterday's high still. So again, if we are sub 6,200, I'm not going to be long on anything right now. So nothing open now. I'm going to close that. I'm probably going to focus the NQ now because I think we're going to get, go back over to the big boys here. I think we're going to get a anything over 6,200 as long, whatever NQ's at. We'll go for 22,698, but it has to be above the 1618. So let's scoot this over right here. And I'll show you the sentiment, anything above VWAP, and we'll go from here to here. Might as well get in the trade because we're going to get that break. Okay, in trade. Put a sell order up here. All right. Oh, I got to lock this drawing. Why does it keep moving? There we go. All right. And again, we're not at any kind of risk here because we are after hours. This thing does not move. We're at foam all-time highs. So, yeah, I think anything above that 3618, we still have a couple points on ES, which leads me to believe at least 22,700 has a capability here. And again, not going to get overzealous, not going to hold in hope. Anything under the 100 fib now, which is under 22,068, I'll be out of the trade. And anything over, I'm long right now at 22,687, as we said, through the 1618 to the 2618. We need the 6,200 to be support on ES to give NQ a little shot up here. Again, I do that a lot. I always trade SPY, the real market. ES after hours doesn't matter nearly as much as live trading. The S&P 500 versus NASDAQ 100 is a no-brainer. You always want to watch SPY. Unless you got a couple weird algo days where NVIDIA, Tesla, chippers are moving, then the Qs can do a couple leads, but it doesn't really matter because we identify those quite quick. So no lower highs, no whammies. This is our 3 up right here. We are long from 22,687. We're looking for the out right below 22,700. Again, really small, be about a $200 trade. It'd bring us back to where we were at before because we got kind of scammed out of that lower, which we knew was going to happen. So it's all good though. I'm going to move my orders up here a little bit. Sell 4 right here at 2 tick. So I'm adding into these positions just a little bit. I want to start locking in a little higher of a range. Even if it slaps a double top here, I want to move up in out of the lower high range because we are 6,200 support and moving on ES. So my full assumption is to come back to 22,699.98, which is obviously 22,700. So anything above the 1618, we'll stop out under there if that happens to move. But if not, we're going to keep on keeping on. And we're going to run, let's see, 1, 2, here. Oh, that'll be 5 total. 4 and 5. Okay, right there. All right. So when we're adding this many contracts too, as we break back up, we got to keep tight stops. So again, the 1618 stop range is going to be right here. We do stop under, then I risk pretty much the profits we have right now for the mini breakout. And I'll do stop under 1618, put a text note there. And target one is obviously up here. That's the whole trade. That's it. And the majority of this trade consists of the 6,200 being support. If we lose 6,200 in any way, shape, or form, I immediately exit without question on NQ, not caring about the trade one bit. I do expect we have all of our orders set because you know, the wick snaps that we get a lot of the times to those upsides, they happen just bam like that. You always want to have your limit order set out there. You always want to be coherent to where you're at. You always want to have your break-even stops and everything else. Yep, there's that wick. Instant flash. 6,200 was lost a little bit there, not by much. Stop under 1618. Again, we're getting scammed on the lower high. We needed a breakout to 22,700, but we're turning this into a lower high for now. Because we risked only what we had on for profits there. So again, the VWAP held. Everything was perfect at the 100 fib. We have to maintain above 22,688.75. The second we're under that, it stops me out in profit. And we're right on the line right there. We got 2 ticks. It's going to be out at 88. And tapped it. Do we lose 62? No, we're still on 62. We got the GP, but we're under the 618. So that is the scam. So if we are not above that 1618, you're very, 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 very cautiously not getting any excited here. We're going to be leaving with barely 400 bucks now. We'll see if it cooks. We got one little wick break under. And again, I'm flattening this pretty much right now because the 6,200 failure on ES, NQ doesn't really matter. NQ is actually going to lead this one, it looks like. We shall see. Pretty boring if we don't bounce the bounce here. Oh crap, where'd the YouTube chat go? There it is. Sorry guys, pro streams here. So we had a couple wick breaks under that 1618. No real hardcore stop zones or anything like that. Come on, start cooking, adding in a little bit. We got faith now. We got faith now. That's the 1618 hold. We're going to take some bastard size here. Throw this baby up. We got 4 contracts there. Okay. So that's pretty much by full size, and we're going to look for snaps to the upside here. I don't want to go too much higher than what we got here. There's a little high break of that higher high. 6,200 is holding still. Very close to breaking that 6,200 stop. So one more candle push here to the 2618. One snap. It'll push into this VWAP too, most likely again. But high day needs to be broken out here. Just in a quick snap again. I don't really care how fast it goes, but just needs to happen eventually. Oh, another GP, another scam in a 1 minute there. I'm going to put a BE on this trade now, or a profit stop rather. Because we got 3 pushes now, and we didn't get anywhere with that last push. We have 1, 2, and that was 3 right here on this last leg. So there's a very high failure rate for these to not work. So I did put a break even at 689 now this time. So no matter what, this thing will stop out if it flushes under 1618. If not, we'll get out right at that 2618, and we should make a little bit of money. My target outs are 22,697, 22,698. Actually just hit him and didn't fill. Big shout out to top one there. Got a little bit left on here. Sorry, I keep forgetting that the frickin' screen is on the bottom side here. I'm terribly great influencer, I know. So here's that 5 on the add point there. Put a P stop down, removed it because we broke out. Now sitting right here at that last order fill. And again, all right, finally filled the order. So we're down to 1 contract just in case it does a parabolic, as you see here. And right to the 3618 parabolic, boom, and out. All right, cool. So we got that one. Nice little shoot. Now we got 1,700 times 3 on all the leaders. Not too shabby. So that's how you do $5,000 some at the open, or whatever the hell it is. I don't know how to do math. All I know how to do is trade. 5,100. Nice shout out. Yeah, it worked out. 3618. That's my favy. And when, like you said, if it was above 6,200, I'll hold the NQ. We're going to move to 710. And that's why we left that one little one on there. I keep forgetting. What the hell? See, this thing disappears on me every time. Someday I'll learn how to use a computer, I promise. All right. So that's all three of the funded accounts at top one. Obviously, that's about my max for the day. I don't generally push it past 15 to 1800. So we just made our tomorrow's money. So we'll be on the big cash accounts and the other accounts there. So that'll be all right. You don't want to short tops because it's at all-time high FOMO moving. So when shorts generally try to pick tops, they're trying to pick a top without actual resistance, right? Because if we're at all-time highs, we're not looking at a historic value of resistance. We're not looking at a weekly or a daily or a Fibonacci going, hey, we got weekly resistance right here. Hey, we have daily resistance right here. We don't have any of that. So if you want to take short scalps here, I mean, that's up to you. I generally play all-time high FOMO movers to the long side. I don't like to play against the trend unless Fibonacci and a resistance point is present. So like the opening part of the stream, this Fibonacci was resting resistance, and this would have been my target short. If it was under 61.97, we got pushed out for $150 red right here, and then jumped over to the NQ side of things to play the break up, because NQ had psychological value where ES did not. And what I mean by that is 22,700 is a very strong magnet, and you notice the 2618 and 27,000 were both in the same spot from the 1 minute open, so we had a really good chance to come back up. Now my favorite short scalp is the 3618 back to the 2618. Go ahead, but I'm locked out for the day. Made 5,100 bucks, so 5,100 bones at the start of the morning. We just don't have anything else to worry about too much here. Fibbed out the 15, hit the 1618. Didn't understand, but I understand all-time highs. Yep, fibbed out the 15 and it hit the 16. Yeah, that's a great opening range. 15s are fantastic too, man. If you're playing 15s, I love the 15-minute open. I have a 15-minute chart always open on the right side over here. But I just activate a lot of my scalp trades on the 5 minute and 1 minute. But I need to know where the 15-minute Fibonacci is. So yeah, if you swap to the 15-minute here, we can just go to a different chart right here. And the opening range breakout, I love these. Just fib out your 15 minutes, your first little range right there. And as long as you're over the golden pocket right here, you have a great chance to hit the 1618. And that's vice versa. It doesn't matter which way it goes. Like that. So right here, GP pushing up, 22,715.86 would have been your 1618. So you actually could push a little bit more, but I probably wouldn't be playing that because the 15 does a lot of shying. And what I mean by that is the 15s, they almost hit their Fibonacci's. The 5 minutes and 1 minutes are usually dead on, but I just like to know where the bigger chunks of golden pockets are for the 15, and we'll use it for an opening range breakout as well. We finally hit that 1618. We had a live tag. So in the thesis for the breakdown as well, we said the 1618 from the pink fib would hit. That was 6204.66. That was another target that we had. I'll go back to the other fib set right here. And this was the potential max long. And where I got this from, if you didn't tune into the first part of the stream, was that we have daily no GPs down here. And each one I have in different colors, and each one, a 1618, generally has a magnet. And we'll focus right now on the pink one. So if we're looking right here, 624's candle is the one we mentioned, and that was the pink Fibonacci. And the pink Fibonacci has no golden pocket right here, and it has an extension range of 6204.66, which means we are right under that at FOMO all-time highs. See where the open was right here? So if we're going to continue above a psychological number of 6,200, we had a good chance to magnet to the 1618. That's another reason on daily Fibonacci where the price action gets sucked into extensions. We call those magnets on my channel in live trading, which we do this a lot. Well, we do this every freaking day because that's the trade style that I have. So not a lot, it's every day. And we would have liked a short scalp precedent up here because this is a pretty large resistance, and same with the NQ. So now I probably wouldn't be interested in too many. Just got hit by a bug. Interested in too many longs after that 1618 hit. Could it plow through? Of course, but it will get a little static resistance. And I had a little note here when we started the stream as well. You can always look back for informational use, but live tag potential. So when I put a live tag potential, that means we are so close to a daily Fibonacci extension that I teach on this channel all the time, where if we are above the 100 fib at 61.55.33, we have a great chance to go to the 1618 here, 6204.66 as a magnet. And notice during that last little session, well, quote, it's today, but yesterday, obviously last session here, we topped out right at 6,200. So that's a really good algo disposition to kind of reject. And then people actually think it's short, but we're so close to a premium tag of a 1618. And remember, we're at all-time highs. We don't have premium levels. We have extensions. We have potentials. This is not even a real level. That was subject to guessing, right? That's Fibonacci math guessing. That's not a, this was not a level. This is all-time high. So, you know, the magnets are all we have right now because we're at all-time high. So when we are fibbing out a couple of these daily not a couple, like all of them, you're looking at, you know, looking at the extensions are all we have. So if you are over the 100 fib of 624's candle, as we discussed, it needs to have an attempt to magnet 6204. It's another reason why we had that in the beginning session of the stream, saying that we had a better chance to move up than down. And we were just playing the short-term 3618 to 2618. I would have took it long back up if we would have got it, but we had to readjust. So no big deal. Going to give an example of how I would fib a 1 minute over a 5 minute anchor VWAP. I give you a couple examples of anchors and fibs, yeah. So I'll give you the opening range on how I played this one. So if I come here to my anchors here, I'll show you how first tag metrics work with anchor VWAPs, and then you kind of guide them. So remember, all long targets are done, just so you guys know. 6204.75 was my last long. I'd be scalping short everything right now. But yeah, I'll give you a little lesson before I head out of here. So the high volume ranges where I pick candles are on higher lows. I call them spaghettis because they end up being a large amount of my chart looking like wet boiled noodles, right? So if I come up here and I put open high low closes on a 4, that's the setting. So I usually use these on open high low close 4, just so you know. But I will put these on the higher lows on trend, right? And then visually, because I'm retarded, this helps me pick up each and every little trend visible tag on the way up. So if I know there's a strong trend for an anchor VWAP, especially on a 1 minute chart, I'm utilizing first tags and continuation tags on each higher low, because what do higher lows generally create on trend? Higher highs and pattern, right? So obviously if you're following a pattern on the 1 minute, when I tag these anchors down here, notice the price action, right? The higher low here pushes back up, and this is a miss. That's a shy. Remember, you got to zoom in really close here on some of this stuff, okay? This anchor, notably, well, we could use either one here. I'm going to use the absolute higher low for this example. We're not counting this as a tag. I don't care what anybody says. That's just a stupid overlap. So when this runs up and it gets close to the anchor, notice it ran away. And then it got close to the anchor, ran away. But it finally tagged the anchor right here, creating what? Another higher low in the sequence of higher lows we are following, right? And then we draw another anchor, right? And then that anchor has a little overlap. And this was the open of our futures market tonight. And then look what happened. We opened and candled the, again, you can do the opening candle like we had, make a little channel out of it. The last higher low tag pushed up, held the anchor, scooped up, back tested. This is where we said it had to hold support, obviously into the anchors, and then cooked us a nice little long for our target, right? That's how I utilize anchor VWAP. If I was to mix it with Fibonacci, I would keep all of my higher low and higher highs on, but all I'm doing is giving myself extra confirmation. So what I'm doing is utilizing both the tag of the anchor and where Fibonacci structure comes in as utilization. So I like the opening 1 minute. There's obviously usually a crazy amount of volume. So I'm going to head on and put on a 1 minute for that Fibonacci just on the opening futures candle. So again, I do this every single day. So if you have questions or if you comment on it and I see it, I'll try to answer these even in instructional videos because I have nothing else to do with my life as I'm retired. So just the kiddos. But after, ask as many questions as you can for this if it looks too much, right? So in the terms of Fibonacci, I like to see Fibonacci, well, one sec here. Remember 3618 to 2618, favorite short scalp, okay? So that just happened there. It has a rule set. So when you draw Fibonacci right here, When it breaks out of its home, right, the little 1 minute, it goes to the 1618. After the 1618, if the Fibonacci is respecting a general pattern up outside of the box, it will return to the 100, right, which is the top of the candle range, right? And then it will break out towards the 2618 on trend and pattern. Now, this is where things get interesting for shying. I'm an algo trader, so I understand these computers a little bit more because this is my trade style. When I see a shy like this on a 2618, here's my thought process of what the opening trade was like. I'm going to say, well, we shied the 2618. But indefinitely, if the trend pattern, now here's where your VWAPs and your fibs come back in, consists of higher lows and higher highs, there's a great chance we will return to the 2618. We walked ourselves through this trade because we shied it here. So a remainder would be, okay, we shied 2618, came down. Where did it come down to? Oh, here's our friendly little VWAPs. Here's our little spaghettis that are helping us visually identify trend easier. And where did it come down to? The top of the opening range candle, thus our 100 fib. And as long as the 100 fib was defended with anchor VWAPs again as a support, we will break through the 1618, hold it as support. This is confirmation trading. When you break over a level and then back test a level, you have a chance to create what? Oh, you guessed it, pattern high or low to push back up again, thus getting our target of the 2618. And we even got the bonus round of the 3618 on this breakout, just because I am an NQ trader and I understand the personality trait of NQ a lot, and it does like to slip through levels. That's why I targeted that last 4 in the beginning part of the video here. And it slipped through. We left one on for like an extra like $300 or whatever it was. So that's where I mix them all together. Inadvertently, let's give you one more small example to the downside of things. Now that we have a high a day, we are looking for a confirmational short scalp, right? We have a high a day here. This is an all-time high. Now, first tag metrics, as I keep saying here, look what it did on the reversal here, okay? As I'm talking, we could have shorted this, but I try to take minimalistic trades where we're not scalping every single 4 to 6 minutes. I like to really plan out some of these trades. But if it is a trade that I'm taking all the time, it is first tag. So let's check this out real quick and predict this the best we can. With what we got. This is a high day candle, 1 minute open, high, low, close. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because it's already pretty much happening here. We have this now, again, all-time high FOMO moving is completely different than regular TA trading, okay? We have a much higher percent chance to keep blowing shorts out of the water because these idiots pick tops that don't exist yet, because there is no such thing as historical resistance here. We're at all-time highs, period. So when this comes out at that 1 minute open, high, low, close 4, comes into the first tag, notice the reaction. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a high range candle. And why am I fibbing out this candle? Clearly because it's all time high. And we put on a anchor. So now I know I have a great short outlook from under the golden pocket of the all time high candle down to 1618 for potential retrace. So as a red trade would go, I would be looking now in regular TA. Don't you dare think this is all-time high, you know, easy shorts. Do not pick tops. The only historic value this top has is on a 1 minute chart. Don't kid yourself. You know, the trade is still dangerous, right? So as this comes down, again, the fib rule exists. Here's the 100 fib. If it breaks out of the 1618, it usually returns. In this scenario, I'm not a short player, as I expressed before, at all-time highs. FOMO moving up. The last thing I'm going to do is short a magical resistance that doesn't exist. But if I had to pick a trade gun to head, this is what I would do. So anything under the GP, I would walk it down and I would use confirmation bias on the anchor VWAPs. And I'd say, okay, first tag, I would get short. So here's the protocol goes down. If it never comes down, I just miss the trade. It's simple as that. If price action goes down and I never backtest an anchor, I'd rather miss it than risk it. I don't care about the trade. There's going to be 100 other trades today, tomorrow, the next day. I don't care about one trade getting away. So what I would do is, again, open, high, low, close 4, goes down, hits that 100 fib, which is the bottom of the candle, retraces back to the GP and VWAP. So you would be shorting into here and your risk would be above the golden pocket. And I would stop out there at the golden pocket breakthrough, where trend dominancy would say, hey, we're going to stick with the highs of all-time high FOMO moving. We're going to get above this golden pocket from the all-time high 1 minute and continue to scam the shorts, because for whatever reason, they like to magically just pick tops, which in this scenario is the psychological advantage of being a long player. You have a definitive buy, 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 buy. And if you're buying into the shorters that don't know where resistance is, you're just going to keep pushing them out and getting free longs over and over and over again. It's the geniuses, or what we call them potatoes, you know, that try to pick tops. You don't do that on all-time high FOMO moving on anything. I don't care what you're on, an ETF, futures, or a stock. You guys know better. You don't just magically pick tops. So Yeah, those are the two little scenarios that I would play either way, and those are the examples mixing your Fibonacci points with your anchors. But again, even if this trade were to work, I would have to stack my catalyst to make my confirmation bias something usable. Utilizationable, is that even a word? So underneath the GP right here, and I would have to see like a break of 22,700 psychological. And what did I just say about 3-up moves, right? Well, if we have a 3-up move where we got plowed through right here, this is only the first one because it reset. So if it goes the open, 1 push, 2 push, 3 push, now it's going down 1, down 2, didn't even get a higher low, and she's already back up. So again, FOMO all-time high moving is a very strong psychological sentiment. The delusional longs that will buy this crap at all-time highs will blow you guys out every time. Their ignorance knows no bounds. You got to be very careful with that. Never the front side. Confirmation trading. Get a couple days worth. There's no such thing as picking a perfect top and then, yeah, guys, I got it. You might get lucky. Shit, even a broken clock is right twice a day. But I guarantee you're not gonna be right more than you're wrong when you're picking tops. No problem, my friend. And we have a lot of instructional videos on stuff like that. If you comment on any of them, I have a really tiny channel, so 9 out of 10 times I will see your comments. And if you are asking a technical analysis question, I'll write it down and cover it on the weekends as well for the free classes. So I'm tiny. I don't have anything to do. I'm not here to sell you anything. I do have a service if you want to watch me be retarded and live trade this. That's it. No courses, no Lambo promises, no psychology books, no ebooks, no TikTok subscription, or whatever the hell kids do nowadays. I'm anti everything that has to do with influencers because I don't have to work anymore. I just do this in the morning for a little bit and survive off what I have in life. So I don't need anything else, especially anybody's internet money. I have plenty of what I need to live. Oh, got a Discord tag. Cry, Mr. KRY. You're so good at stuns me sometimes watching you. I don't know about that, man. I'm a little stupid, but it works out sometimes. I'm just very boring and basic. Like I gotta look for like 2 or 3 things, stack some catalysts, and I'm good. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I don't know. Mentorship. That's kind of what our streaming service is. I mean, I'll help anybody I can with the best ability that I can. Anybody that's in the chat, they have me live access to ask as many questions as I can. I answer every tiny thing I can while I'm on stream. So definitely. Correct 3-up? No such thing. We're biased on statistical advantages just like anything else, right? On the 1-minute chart, generally in a better scenario of psychology, 3-up, 3-downs, it's just a generalization of stacking catalysts. So I'm really fond of stacking catalysts like together. So if I see a 3-up move developing, I'm going to link that with a weekly support, a Fibonacci, an anchor, something else. It's not something that's just going to be super apparent. Like this one is kind of apparent at open because we had the flush 1, 2, and then it based and had this little cocksuck move and then poof 3. Now that 3-up move is done. Now it's moving into a 3-down move, right? And a lot of the times for 1, you need volume for 3-up and 3-down to work. I don't use these generally all the time after hours because the after hours trading is kind of booty on NQ and ES, but I will trade the 3-up and 3-down mostly on QQQ and SPY because I trade off the ETFs. I watch QQQ and SPY and I trade the futures off there. I actually just trade SPY in the VIX. I actually don't watch the futures contract at all. I activate every single trade I make on futures with QQQ and SPY. So when those are open, when those are trading in the respectable volume that they're at, that's what you want to do. For me anyway, I found it way easier to adhere to. But proper 3-down, 3-downs, just if you can find it, just leave it in the back of your mind. Like if I go to a 5-minute chart, we can find a bunch of examples here, right? That are when you come into it. And again, in the psychology of what we're dealing with right now is a grind up of all-time highs. We're not going to get regular good trading. So if I go here and I'm like, okay, where's the 3-down, 3-up? Okay, for 1, psychology is number 1. Every time I walk into the day, I go, well, how's the market going to try to catch me today, right? What are we dealing with? Do we have CPI this morning? We got Powell. Do we have FOMC? What do we have today? So as I come into the day, I need to understand, is there a chance that this crap market is just going to shoot straight up and grind up because we're at all-time high FOMO moving? Yes. So hypothetically, would I only be looking for 3-up? Probably not. I'm probably looking for about 15-up, right? Because of a grind, which we have seen multiple times. But if we go back in the term of like, let's say regular trading, we can find a couple examples just on the 5-minute chart that generally hold true during real trading hours. So we got to find some that are like momentum movers, right? And they usually have snapback. So like here's a couple of good waterfalls right here that were coming into, let's see, the afternoon. Here's the open, 8 a.m. So here's a couple big knee-jerk moves where it started at the highs here, and I'm basing it off time, right? Because we're opening here in the market. So this kind of move right here is a 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. One of the things I look for, if I'm looking for downs, I'm only looking for lows. If I'm looking for ups, I'm looking for highs more than anything. So if I see low, 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 that's a 3 down. I really, even if it's flat topping, I generally look for the 3 lower lows. Okay. If it's going to the upside, I generally look for the 3 higher highs. I don't worry about too much of the noise in between. If you practice, your eyeballs a little bit, you'll see them appear. Kind of like some of the chop right here, you'd seen it. They do get slow, but here's 1 of the highs, 2 of the highs, 3 of the highs. So look at the fresh highs. I know the chop, you can do this in the chop. It's just harder to see. But if some of these are our prior highs and we're hitting new highs, that's what we're focusing on. High 1, and not by much, comes down. High 2 comes down, but what are we forming? Higher lows. High 3, what did it do after the third high? Lower low, again, not by much because it is choppy garbage right now, but it's still there. So you can practice those eyes over and over and over again, and you'll pick them up. But it's not an everyday thing. It's something that you're going to want to stack catalyst with, and the trade conditions that we've seen recently in the last few weeks makes that very difficult. So don't beat yourself up if you can't see it on a righteous all-time high FOMO move, because that psychology does take precedent. Kind of comes over and kicks everybody's butt a lot of the times. Cool. All right, friends. Well, I just want to do a little bit of stream opening because I wanted to play the all-time high jargon here, and we got her. So yeah, we have a YouTube video that we just produced today, which if you guys want to check that out, it's about 20 minutes. I put it out today, predictions ahead of time, called the downside to the gap, 80 points on NQ, and kind of how I did it with 1-minute gaps and the algo magnets and shying that we talk about a lot. So good little video if you got a couple seconds, but if you guys want to check it out, it's always appreciated. We do teaching on the weekends, and I give away, we're going to do a Sunday live stream. Like always, give away some cold hard cash. So if you comment on any one of these videos this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then come join us again for a Sunday open, you just win cash. All you got to do is be subscribed and comment. So I'm going to be hopping off here, hang out with the kiddos here, watch play on the gaming computers, and then yeah, hang out and grab time is it 5? Yeah, some dinner time here. Yeah, I like the vid or whatever influencers say. Yeah, don't use that. Oh, I have all these tip things turned off, right? I had to do that last time. Somebody's like trying to send me money. Don't send me money. I don't want your tips or whatever the hell the YouTube thing's called. Don't do that. Don't send me any money. I don't need it. But thank you very much. We'll tune in here on to the weekend for the next live, and that's going to be the giveaway. So tune in Sunday night, and I'll have YouTube videos all throughout the week. If you got questions, drop a comment. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good rest of your evening. We'll see my team in the morning.